More Than a Married Couple But Not Lovers has the dumbest premise ever. At the school that the main character attends, it's a graduation requirement to take something called the Marriage Practical, a test that randomly selects one boy and one girl to live with each other in a space provided by the school while being encouraged to engage in sexual activities because the school is rating them on how close they get with one another. And if they're not close enough to each other by the end of the year, they'll be held back or something. And in order to rate how close the students get to each other, the school has cameras monitoring everything that they're doing during a period of time that they're supposed to have full privacy, and this is really creepy. There is a whole lot wrong with this concept, but for some reason the show is good, like really good. So good that I might even call it one of the best romance shows to come out in recent memory, because while the premise is ridiculous, the way that the story presents itself is actually interesting and engaging. A lot of people may question my taste for saying something like that, but I swear I'm not crazy. The best way I could describe it is if someone took a big, stinky, and disgusting shit on a piece of paper, sprayed it with the most delicious smelling thing imaginable, played with it like it was clay, and morphed it into this whole analogy as fuck. The show revolves around Jiro and Akari, who have been paired with each other for the Marriage Practical. Coincidentally, both of their crushes have been paired up with each other as well, and the only way for our two main characters to get together with their respective love interests is for them to get a high enough ranking to swap partners. What's cool about Akari is that even though she's built up as an asshole bully before she and the protagonist are paired together, she's actually surprisingly chill about the whole situation and doesn't lash out at Jiro for no reason. Well, okay, yes, she does start off very frustrated and treats the main character poorly as a result, but once they start losing points, she puts in work herself to try and get those points back instead of just blaming the main character for everything. In this first scenario, she shows that she's pretty competent, and even though she's not used to this, she's trying her best. And it's like, damn, I wasn't expecting an anime character to be somewhat reasonable in these circumstances, but she is. Even taking into account her rocky start, I find her personality to be extremely empathetic. She acts like this in a lot of situations, which is what makes her such a refreshing character to watch. The same goes for Jiro too. On the surface, he seems like just another generic wimpy character, but he actually has the balls to do something to progress his relationship with Akari. In the first episode, Akari tries to get Jiro to give her a goodbye kiss since they needed to act like a married couple to get more points, and after a bit of teasing, Jiro actually does it. The two leads are refreshing, but they're also likable. Their relationship kind of speaks for itself. Not long into the anime, Akari completely drops her popular girl persona and treats Jiro with the respect that he deserves, and it's nice. You get this impression that they genuinely trust each other and feel for each other by the end of the very first episode without it feeling forced. It's a relationship built on self-interest and convenience, which morphs into something more meaningful. It's a common trope, but one that's handled exceptionally well here. All of the characters in this show are endearing. Some definitely fall into archetypes, but they all bounce off of each other with a real sincerity. When they start to have problems, they actually communicate with each other instead of avoiding each other, with the exception of one episode, but I'll get to that. And these problems don't feel overly dramatic or drawn out either. Let's go back to that scene of Jiro and Akari kissing. I really love the direction in this scene. It's fun and over the top, using very outlandish character actions while still very accurately capturing how it feels to deal with the pressure of juggling between two different conversations. The sound of the doorbell ringing faster and faster makes the scene feel urgent and frantic in a way that's incredibly relatable, and the music cutting out by the end as they kiss is a nice way to get across the shock of what just happened. The entire show is surprisingly well directed. It's because of this that the dramatic moments of the show really land. The direction is so good that it makes me forget that all of this is being watched by some teacher in a dark room somewhere, but whatever. It's hard not to feel for these characters when they're starting to feel depressed or insecure about themselves. One example of this comes from the third episode of the show. At the start, there's this very cheery music playing in the background as Akari prepares a meal for Jiro, and every so often the show cuts to them gaining points. The repetition of the shot is a great way of setting things up for the latter part of this episode, where due to a variety of reasons, Akari ends up dejected and avoids interaction with Jiro, and as a result, they continue to lose points in the same kind of repetition shot that we started on. But whereas the beginning felt very energetic and fun, given the up-close camera angles and music, this shot feels really lonely, emphasizing the empty space in front of the wall. The juxtaposition is very simple, but effective at conveying the sheer difference in atmosphere between these two moments, while also telegraphing the deteriorating state of the two's relationship. This shot of Jiro playing his game on the bed has the same effect. When we first see this, he's very clearly smiling, but when we come back to this shot again, his face is no longer visible. Again, very simple but very effective storytelling combined with a quality soundtrack. It's downright unbelievable how the show manages to make these moments feel meaningful and potent despite the ludicrous context surrounding them. Though because of this really stupid premise, the characters actually get a chance to shine more because they're the ones who are actually acting relatively normal, which was just completely unexpected for me going in. At the time of recording, this show currently has 6 episodes out right now, and I would actually recommend it. It has all of the qualities of trashy junk food while simultaneously being, well, it's just good. That's all, and I'll be going now.